Well, hello YouTubers, Fast Eddie here again today making a video on a 2003 Hyundai Santa Fe 2.7 liter. Today the customer is complaining about their power steering pump. They just don't have power steering. Here's the old pieces compared to the new one. Well, here's the low pressure line from this vehicle, and as you can see, it has already been fixed before. Right here they probably had a hole in there, and they put a piece of rubber hose in there and put it together, and kind of hoping that was the end of the problem. But take a look at this. That is not supposed to happen. So I'm assuming that because of this, air was coming through here, through here, through here, on the other end. See that? And through here. That's not supposed to happen. Here's the new line. See how that metal line is nice and tight against that rubber hose. Right here as well. That's the way it's supposed to be. So I'll show you how to put that one in, and since I'm doing all this work, I'm just gonna replace the high pressure line as well, because it looks like it needs it. So since I'm doing all this work, I'm just gonna go ahead and replace everything. Go from there. All right, stay tuned. Okay, removing the lines is not easy. Gotta remove the tire. That would be the driver's side. Then you will have access to the power steering lines right there. The top one right there would be your low pressure line, and then the one that is hooked up right now, that would be your high pressure line. So then that is the one that I'm gonna be taking out in a minute. Okay, here is the other end of the line. I'm gonna remove this plastic shield out of here. Okay, there is actually 4 10mm bolts. One of them is here. One of them is on this side here of the strut. One of them is here. And one of them is right over there. Okay, with that plastic off, now it's a lot easier to get your hands in there and get this line out. Okay, I got this line loose from that upper one. The only problem is that this nut right here is so rusty that it's turning this line over, and it won't let me rotate it, so I'm gonna be cutting it right about here. Okay, I cut the line. Now that should be a little bit easier to take out. Maybe. Just like that. This is the driver's side, and that's where the other line came out from too. The high pressure line is ready to be set. Don't forget about that plastic cap there to keep it clean during installation. So let's get to it. Alright, so installing the line, It's actually pretty easy here. Just gotta feed it right through there. Just like that. Okay, we got the high pressure line in, and just make sure there is enough clearance between the engine and the cab. So just so that line is not rubbing against anything there. And that would be one. And on this end right here we have an O-ring. So make sure when you tighten this end, don't get it super tight, otherwise that O-ring is going to be damaged. 5/8 wrench, that seemed to work pretty good for me. Okay, here is a look from the other end. That bottom nut is a 5/8, that's what I use for the new line, and a 19 mil for the top one. On this end you want to get it tight, because this end is flared. There is no O-ring on this end, so that explains why it was so tight to get it out. So make sure you get it tight, otherwise you would have a leak. All right, so now we're going to do the low pressure line, and the first thing you want to do is obviously you want to transfer any rubber pieces here to protect the new line. Okay, to remove this bracket from here, there is a little fine line right in here. It's just like over here on this end. All you got to do is just take a screwdriver, pop it loose like this, and it comes off. That easy. Okay. The easiest way to get this in would be to get this in first, and like this a little bit, and up he goes. Just like that. I got my line in. That's supposed to be some sort of an oil cooler line, I guess. It wasn't too bad to put in. The one that was actually giving me problems was that one right there. I used a long screwdriver to guide in the bracket. Then I used a long ratchet with a 10 mil. And people, I got my low pressure line ready to install. I got my rubber bushings here for my brackets, where that line's gonna be hold on to, and then I got my gasket. Don't forget to put that one in, otherwise you will have a bad day. I am sitting on the passenger side of the truck, and this would be the setup you want to have in order to feed that line all the way through in one piece. Otherwise it would be almost impossible. So the end without a nut has to be between the frame and the pulley there. As you can see, I got the rest of the line here in front of the tire, underneath the axle, okay, and then I got the other end of the hose over there where the nut is. So I'm gonna feed it right to that little opening right through there. So I'm just gonna work it slowly till I get to that, to the other end. This you would have to do from underneath the truck, and it's actually not too bad. So just takes a little bit of patience, and but that's the way to do it. Just make sure that line stays right there. Don't let it go anywhere, otherwise you got to start all over again. But this is your setup. All right, see that? Underneath the axle, blah blah blah, there it goes. Okay, might want to put a little bit of tape at the end where that nut is. All right people, after about 2 minutes I got my line in pretty much where I want it. Wasn't really too bad. Here's my other line right there. Okay, you can take the tape off. Wipe it off a little bit. Now you can use some grease, something like this, to lubricate this O-ring And it's gonna go here, just like that. I'm not gonna get it too tight just yet. I'm gonna work the other end, or see what I gotta do on the other end. Once I get the other end situated, then I'm gonna come back and tighten this knot over here. It doesn't have to be super tight because you got an O-ring. So now we gotta fill the power steering reservoir all the way to the max. Okay, now that is done, now I gotta go and turn the wheels from side to side so I can get the air out. And I'm gonna do that until basically there is no air in the system. So that might take, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. So I can do that up to 20 times or whatever, but now that I have replaced all the power steering lines, I really shouldn't have any issues. So I'm hoping that maybe 15-20 times should be enough. We'll see. Okay, so it's time to go and turn the wheels and see what happens. The oil has gone down, so let's fill it up again. I'm going to fill it all the way to the top. There you go. Just a one-man operation here, so it's kind of hard to go back and forth, but hey, I'm trying, right? I'm actually about on the low line, so I'm just gonna add a little bit. Okay, I just went to the max. It is important that you go nice and slow back and forth with your steering wheel, so you're not actually creating more pressure on the system. The system was actually not too bad. It took me less than 5 minutes to get the job done, and that's what I was expecting. If you like this video, please subscribe. It does take a lot of time to get videos like this done because you got to have different angles and this and that, so it takes probably twice as long. So please subscribe. Fast Daddy here.